Well, good evening. Welcome here to Restore Live on a Monday evening. Now, I personally, I'll not be staying here for long. What it is that we want to do this evening is that we've made a documentary style video of something that we had talked about last Thursday evening, and we call it From Protest to Power to Pandering. And what we're actually talking about whenever we're talking about from protest to power to pandering, the question that should be on everyone's mind, that whilst Jeffrey Donaldson, the DUP, are speaking very good language with reference to protocol right now, well, it appears whenever that you break things down and you see what it was that Liz Truss had actually delivered in the Parliament last Tuesday. Well, Jeffrey Donaldson, he welcomed what it was that Liz Truss had actually delivered, and we took some legal advice on Friday, just past, and the legal advice is that under what it is that's on offer from the British government and from Liz Truss, as she delivered it in the Parliament last week, and Jeffrey Donaldson had actually welcomed it and said that if the legislation comes out in the right way, well, that would form the basis of the DUP going back into Stormont. But the reality is, people, that the legal advice is that there is still a border in the North Channel and the Irish Sea. And one question for everyone that would actually seek to watch this here before that it comes on. This is a small documentary pointing out exactly what it is that's happened over the past week or so. And it focuses on the areas that people should focus on. And we decided to document this in such a way that it can be passed out, and it can be passed out to people, unionists, with a vested interest in seeing Northern Ireland continuing as part of the United Kingdom. Well, we want it passed out to unionists so that they can see for themselves what potentially the DUP could be about to do and what it is that they've accepted in principle last week, as per Jeffrey Donaldson's own words. So, as I say, we are not for staying here. We're just going to get on with playing this documentary, and please enjoy as this goes on. And really, you're going to get your eyes open. So I'm going to ask people if they would share this out, if they would tag people into the live chat, if they would ask people to come along and to see what it is that we're delivering right now. And just one more thing before that we start. And what I do want to do is that I want to ask anyone that say would be on Twitter, if they would go across to Twitter, and if they would join us on Twitter at Restore UK, and that is at Restore UK ANI, which is the Twitter handle. So I look forward to actually watching this myself. We spent quite a few hours cutting this and putting this together, and I hope that if anything, this is informative. And also, what I would ask people to do is that don't be swayed by what it is that we would say to you. Understand for yourself what's in the content of this documentary style video. And whenever you see this content, you make up your own mind as to, should we continue to put pressure on the DUP? Should we continue to insist that we are the people of Northern Ireland, that we are much bigger in terms of numbers than the DUP hierarchy? And that, well, I believe that everyone should insist that the DUP, that they stick by their promises that was delivered on the protocol rally stages right around this country, whenever Jeffrey Donaldson would have said that the protocol has to go, that democracy has to be respected for the people of Northern Ireland. So join us on Twitter and enjoy, people, as you would watch this documentary that we have prepared over the past few days. Referendum vote accepted and awarded in the same way as people in England, Scotland, and Wales, and anything less is a compromise on your rights as a citizen of the United Kingdom. if you're interested in the continuation of Northern Ireland as part of the United Kingdom, well, let's just watch and let's just understand what it was that, say, for example, Jeffrey Donaldson was saying on protocol rally stages, what it was that he was promising the electorate here in Northern Ireland. And let's understand, let's try to understand, is he keeping up with his end of the bargain? Well, that's a question for the people that is watching this screen and that will come to watch this screen in the very, very near future.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your welcome back to Ballymoney. I'm pleased to be here this evening, and I brought my orange collarette, which I will wear later in the parade. We are standing together to say very clearly that this is not acceptable, and we will not put up with the subjugation of our rights as citizens of the United Kingdom. I want the message to go out from this place that we stand united in our aspiration and in our clear position that the protocol is not acceptable and it must go.
So the protocol isn't acceptable. We stand united in our aspirations that the protocol isn't acceptable and the protocol must go. Now you remember those words, the protocol must go, because they are very relevant to what you're going to hear very soon, whenever it is that we show you how that incrementally and how incrementally that they have moved from the protocol must go to the protocol is now somehow acceptable. And we're going to show this conclusively, and I'm asking for the people that is watching this screen to make up your own mind. Do we deserve to have this after how many years? 1969 going forward, we've been bombed, we've been shot at, we've been threatened. You know, people in Northern Ireland, we wanted to live an ordinary, decent life, and we've lived a real, we've lived a nightmare, is the truth of that matter. And here we are being treated like this at this late hour. And, whenever that we should be being looked after. In fact, I believe that every person here in Northern Ireland has never lived through the troubles, I may add, that the British security forces often could have stopped. Well, I believe that every person here not only deserves a medal, but they deserve huge compensation for what it is that they had to go through, and now how it is that they're being treated. We should be respected for what it is that we came through, not treated as second-class citizens and not disrespected by politicians that we give our vote to just a few weeks ago. And now they are softening their language. And whilst the Jeffrey would have says that the protocol must go here in Ballymoney, County Antrim, and many other stages across this province, just watch how I show you how that the language is softened and how that he is welcoming the protocol is actually remaining.
That is the message we need to send out, from that we want and we demand what we were promised. That we're not asking for something we haven't been told we're entitled to. We are not asking for something that we haven't already been told we should have.
So we're not asking for anything that we're not entitled to. I'll grant that. We're not asking for anything that we haven't been told or that we understand that we shouldn't have. Now look at the picture in the background there. It says anti-protocol parade and rally. Now remember those words. That's how those rallies were being sold by the organisers. Anti-protocol parade and rally. That's what it was. That's what Jeffrey Donaldson was standing on that platform on the ticket of, is anti-protocol parade and rally. And he stood right across this province on an anti-protocol ticket. Now, let me show you where that it is that Jeffrey Donaldson has moved to since the DUP, and I say this respectfully, if this is where the DUP are leading you since that they swindled your vote.
We're simply asking for that which is our right. So let us continue to stand together, united in our determination that
So let us stand together, united in the determination that the protocol must go. And we'll let those words be finished in a second, but I stopped here for a purpose, is that it says here at the very bottom, it says at the top, the protocol must go. it says the democratic rights should be fully restored. And this is what Jeffrey goes on to say, that the democratic rights should be fully. There's no ambiguity about that word, fully, that our democratic rights should be fully restored. And that means that we should be equal citizens. We are asking for equality with the rest of the United Kingdom. We are asking for equality with England, Scotland, and Wales. We want our Brexit referendum vote used or accepted and awarded in the same way as people in England, Scotland, and Wales. And anything less is a compromise on your rights as a citizen of the United Kingdom. You remember that. And Jeffrey Donaldson is saying this on that stage, and then watch, and then understand how that it was and how that it is that the same Jeffrey Donaldson has moved and is now trying to persuade you that this, what's about to be done, is a good deal for the people of Northern Ireland. Let's finish this clip. Let's kick it off the screen because we've some more to go.
The protocol must go, and our democratic rights as British citizens should be fully restored. Thank you.
So our democratic rights as British citizens should be fully, quote unquote, restored. Restore UK. That's what you call this channel. Give us a like, give us a love, give us a share. Put some messages in the live chat. Tag people into the live stream, because you're just scratching the surface of what it is that we have documented and what it is that we want to show you. We believe in a conclusive way, and we want you and everyone else to make up their own minds as to who's on your side, who's not on your side, which lackeys are trying to persuade for and on behalf of the DUP to get you to accept the DUP's climb down position, and all for what? All so that they can be elevated in their own personal form. Let's play on. Let's play on. Now, people, leave some messages in the live chat. Tell me what you think so far. Tell me if you believe that we at Restore are doing things in the right way. Tag people into the live chat. Give us a like, give us a love, give us a share. Get those numbers up, because more people needs to see this screen. The numbers are high, and more people needs to see this screen than is actually watching now. Now, we understand that the social media platforms, because that we respect our place in the United Kingdom, because that we want to see the continuation of the United Kingdom, because that we wanted to leave the dictatorial Ponzi scheme that is the EU, because that we detest globalization. And why? Because they're filling our countries with uncontrollable immigration. They are overburdening our already overburdened services. Our housing is getting dear. There is no housing left for our nearest and dearest. We can't get hospital treatment. We can't get doctor's treatment. When the world comes in to drive a wedge between us, we shouldn't let them win. We need to fight this with everything that we have. Now listen to Jeffrey as time has moved on. Now that was before the election, on the protocol rally stages that you just heard there, that we should be fully restored. Our democratic rights should be fully restored. Should be. Was that the little get out clause? Who knows? Because you do have to listen to the words of politicians. You really have to listen to the words. So let's play on.
Legislation remains as it was, and that is that we need to see the issues around the protocol dealt with decisively by the government. We need.
So post-election, our stand is exactly as it was. This is what he's saying. Now, just listen very carefully to what he actually is saying, and listen very carefully to what has been omitted from what it is that he does say when he says that the issues around the protocol have to be sorted out. I'm going to say that again. The issues around the protocol have to be sorted, but not the protocol. I'm going to wind that back again, and I want you to listen to this clip very, very carefully. So that was Jeffrey before the election when he says that the protocol has to go, that the border has to go, that everything to do with the protocol, it isn't acceptable and it has to go. And this was Jeffrey Donaldson in the Great Hall of Stormont with his elected MLAs. Now listen to this language from the DUP, and you make your own decision as to what's not in this language whenever you hear that the issues around the protocol need to be sorted. Just the issues around, but not the protocol. And listen very carefully. Let's wind that back.
Post-election, our position remains as it was, and that is that we need to see the issues around the protocol dealt with decisively by the government. We need decisive action by the government to address the difficulties created by the protocol, whether that is driving up the cost of living, whether that is the harm that it's doing to businesses and our economy, or indeed in undermining political stability in Northern Ireland. The protocol needs to be dealt with. We sought a mandate from people to adopt the stance that we have taken.
And let's kick that from the screen and let's move on. You see, notice how the protocol had to go, and then it was the issues around the protocol had to be dealt with. We sought a mandate, he says, but his mandate wasn't for dealing with the issues around the protocol. And remember what it was that happened on Monday. And in case you forget, we're not going to let you forget. Stay with this screen so that you can understand what your political leaders are doing in you, what that DUP has done consistently every single time that they get your vote. They swindle your vote. They tell you one thing and they go and they do the complete opposite of that which they claimed that they would represent for you before that it was that they come out and they seeked your vote. So let's now just play another clip by Jeffrey Donaldson, and then we're going to move on to something even more clear. We're going to show you in a conclusive way where this landing zone has landed and what it is that Jeffrey Donaldson has actually accepted as a landing zone. You'll not be disappointed that you watch this screen and that you got a clear understanding of what it is that your leaders are doing in plain sight if you care to actually watch very closely.
Covered a range of issues in his article. Some of them I would agree with him on, other aspects I wouldn't agree with him on. Well, we're in a negotiating process and people start from different points, but in the end, it's the outcome that matters.
So we're in a negotiating process. People start from different points, and at the end, it's the outcome that matters. But what happened to the red lines? What happened to the protocol must go? What happened to your democratic right must be respected? What happened to all of that? What happened to the promises on the protocol stage? Now it's a negotiation that he's in. But let's just play on.
We recognise that, for example, goods moving from the United Kingdom into the European Union directly, of course, have to be subject to customs arrangements.
So goods moving from the United Kingdom into Northern Ireland, well, of course, there has to be a border in the North Channel to check them. There has to be a border between England, Scotland and Wales in Northern Ireland. Whatever happened to no sea border? The border has to go, the protocol has to go, which delivered and put in place that border. Whatever happened to those things that were being said on those protocol rally stages? Whatever happened to enough is enough? Because as far as I'm concerned, enough still is enough. And tomorrow and the next day and next week and the week after, for every single British Unionist in this country, enough has to be enough. Unless, of course, that you want to lose every single thing that you've ever believed in. And if you follow Jeffrey Donaldson and the DUP and their rollover and their climb downs, of course, you will lose everything that you've ever believed in. Everything that people in this country has fought and died for over the years, it will have all been in vain. Whilst Jeffrey and his merry band of sellout merchants, followed by Doug Beattie, well, they will deliver you to this so-called New Ireland before that you know it.
EU is a foreign entity, and therefore goods entering the EU are subject to a customs regime.
Yeah.
But there is, and we need to agree how that happens in practice and what those arrangements look like. But I am very clear that on the movement of goods within the United Kingdom, there's no need for this Irish Sea border. It needs to be removed because it is harming our economy and undermining political stability in Northern Ireland.
So for the movement of goods here in Northern Ireland, or coming to Northern Ireland from England, Scotland and Wales, I am clear that there's got to be no checks. Now remember exactly what he said there, and then we're going to give you a breakdown of what happened in the Parliament just a few days ago, whenever Liz Truss on Tuesday would have delivered how the government were outlining how that they were going to proceed, and watch how Jeffrey actually welcomes what it is that Liz Truss would have said. But however, listen carefully whenever I show you what it was that Liz Truss would have said. Now, what I want to do is that I want to go to another video here as we go, and I want to play you a little clip from Mr. Poots. Now, this is something that started last Wednesday on Nolan TV Live, whenever Mr. Poots, now this is a clear indicator of where the DUP were actually going from last Wednesday, just a few days after the Assembly elections. Last Wednesday on the Nolan Show Live, listen to what Mr. Poots admits to, and admits that the DUP will actually accept. Now listen very carefully. We'll come back and we'll talk more about the DUP. Now we're going to focus on Liz Truss in 3 different clips, and you're going to get your eyes opened as to what was being proposed the other day by the British government, and what that it is that the DUP are accepting, and what that it is that their lackeys are persuading for.
There is no reason whatsoever that the European Union is demanding that goods which are consumed in Northern Ireland should have to go through customs. There's no reason that they have to go through SPS checks, because those goods cause no threat whatsoever to the European Union single market. And we will do our utmost, the DUP will do its utmost to ensure that the integrity of the European Union single market is kept.
Okay, so will you accept and implement checks in Belfast, in ports in Northern Ireland, for goods that are intended to go on to the Republic of Ireland?
Absolutely no issue. They can be in Belfast, they can be anywhere else in Northern Ireland, but we are happy to ensure that goods transiting Northern Ireland to go to the European Union will be checked, and that we will do our bit to ensure the integrity of the European Union single market.
So there was Edwin Poots being asked, will they check, will the DUP be happy to check goods in Belfast? Absolutely no problem, he says. We will check goods, we will keep the Poots posts in Larne, in Belfast and in Warrenpoint, and we will check EU goods coming to Northern Ireland. Now let's understand something very, very clearly. That is an EU border. That is the border being moved. That is moving the boundaries. That is pushing the boundaries. And that is moving the boundaries back from the border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic. And that is moving that EU border to the Irish Sea between Northern Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales. Now, if that is happening, if that is still in existence, that constitutes a border. And the protocol has to remain in order for that border to stay. Now, don't take my word for it, because we're going to show you conclusively that this is what the British government are actually persuading for, or what the British government are offering as a landing zone, and what it is that Jeffrey Donaldson has actually accepted in principle for and on behalf of the DUP, and by extension for and on behalf of the people here in Northern Ireland. And they do not have my authority to do this, and I hope that they don't have your authority to do this here. I think sometimes that what they're hoping for is that people will have give up, that people, after years and years of betrayal, people are so worn down that they roll over, that they fall over, and that there'll be no fight left in them. Well, not if I have anything to do with it, because what we're aiming to do here is that we're aiming to win people's hearts and minds, and to show people that your political leaders are actually selling you out, that they will be looked after nicely, thank you, as in the words of Carson. You were a humble rung in a ladder that helped them climb into power, and once they climbed into power, they kick away the ladder with no concern for you. Now, that was me paraphrasing of something that Carson would have said just over 100 years ago, but that is applicable to what the DUP have done in the general election of 2019, and they've done exactly the same in the assembly elections of 2022. That DUP, well, they have not changed their spots. That DUP leopard is what I was going to say, hasn't changed its spots and never will, and never will. So we're going to play a little clip here from Liz Truss. Now we have some more video clips to go on, and we're going to get through these as quickly as we can because we want to complete this documentation of how that it is that you are being shafted, how that it is that you're being swindled, how that it is that you're going to be, it's going to be an attempt to persuade you to accept this DUP claim down position, which will in effect mean that you are second-class citizens within the United Kingdom, that you will not have had your democracy upheld, that there will be a form of constitutional change, that the EU will still have a foothold in this country, that the border will have moved from Killeen and around the Irish border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and that border will have been moved and physically placed in the Irish Sea, separating you and I and everyone else in Northern Ireland from England, Scotland and Wales. No tinkering with the protocol. Who remembers those words? No tinkering will be accepted. That's what I heard. Enough is enough. I also heard that. Now it appears that some people and some people's lackeys are persuading for, well, us to remain a part of the EU. Let's play this. Now, this is one of the most important clips. The next three clips are the very important clips that we're going to play here on this entire screen. And please leave your messages in the live chat. Please give us a like, a love and a share, and that way we get to invite you to your channel on social media, and that way that we can continuously update you, upgrade you on in terms of what it is that your politicians are doing before you're in plain sight, and they're doing one thing and they're telling you the complete opposite. So let's now play what it was that Liz Truss had to say. Now, I went through just over 2 hours of video clips to get these three clips out. And, it took quite a bit of time, going back over and looking and understanding and getting the clips that actually tell you, the tale that you can put this jigsaw together with whenever that you hear what it is that they have to say. So this is what Jeffrey Donaldson is welcoming. This is what others are welcoming. And this is what some people, some great unionists who are installed as leaders and want to be leaders and want to show themselves to be leaders, well, this is what they're leading you into when they tell you that trust the British government. They're bringing out legislation and all's going to be fine. And, and what we should do is we should separate from the rest of the United Kingdom in terms of trade whenever there's a green lane and a red lane placed in the North Channel, where it'll allow hauliers to, if they're going to the EU, to be in the red lane, and it'll allow hauliers from coming to Northern Ireland to be in the green lane. Now, would you believe that both of those lanes are still going to be subject to checks? That's not what the DUP are trying to persuade. That's not what others are trying to persuade. So if that's the case, there's light touch, adjustments to the protocol. But what has changed? Now, don't take my word for it. Listen to these next three video clips and you assess for yourself if what Jeffrey Donaldson is welcoming, well, does Jeffrey Donaldson respectfully, does he need his head looked at?
Propose what we believe to be a comprehensive and reasonable solution to deliver on the objectives of the protocol. This includes a trusted trader scheme to provide the EU with real-time commercial data, giving them confidence that goods intended for Northern Ireland are not entering the EU single market.
So we'll just stop that. We'll bring it back and we'll change the screen so that we can talk about it, so that we can just understand what Liz Truss just said there, and so that we can emphasize, so that there's no ifs or buts, or there's no, so that people understand fully what the implications of what Liz Truss just said there. So
the UK has proposed what we believe to be a comprehensive and reasonable solution to deliver on the objectives of the protocol. This includes a trusted trader scheme.
So let's just stop there. So we're given a comprehensive look at the protocol, paraphrase words, and we're going to implement a trusted trader scheme, which means that the goods coming from England, Scotland and Wales to Northern Ireland, that the hauliers, internal UK market, that people from England, Scotland and Wales coming to Northern Ireland, it'll be able to go down a green channel, and they're given some sort of certification for and on behalf of the EU to travel into Northern Ireland to deliver goods to this part of the United Kingdom. I ask yourself the question, is that a border? Is that divergence from what the people of England, Scotland and Wales enjoy between each other? Why is it that Northern Ireland is separated from the rest of the United Kingdom in such a fashion? And then listen very carefully to what she has to say. So there's first a trusted trader scheme
to provide the EU with real-time commercial data, giving them confidence that goods intended for Northern Ireland are not entering the EU single market.
So they are also proposing giving the EU, information to say that this is all we're delivering to our other part of the United Kingdom, to Northern Ireland. This is what the EU requirements are. I ask yourself another question. Is that a separation from the rest of the United Kingdom? Where else in the entire United Kingdom is there such a border where people say, for example, from London to Manchester, do they have to have a trusted trader scheme? Do they have to send information off to the EU? And I will tell you this also, when you look into it, that the EU want to have oversight. They actually want to be manning those posts, and they want to be doing sporadic checks on the goods coming from here, from England, Scotland and Wales to Northern Ireland. Now, remember what Mr. Poots said. Now, Mr. Poots and the DUP, they're, as I'm going to say, over the detail of this as I am. I've had to go and find it for myself. The people here at Restore feeding the information into us, so we've spent hours, days, 4 days, looking at a lot of things, trying to understand what it is that actually is being proposed. You make no mistake, the DUP fully understand that there is going to be a border, and yet when on Nolan's show last Wednesday, Mr. Poots had said that the DUP will accept borders on behalf of the EU in Belfast, and by extension in Larne, Belfast and on Warren Point. Now, let's remind ourselves of how these things happen. As I said, that there is position papers that is passed between these political parties. We understand this. If you were watching from the start, you will have noticed that this landing zone that they were all talking about was that there would be, free movement of goods from England, Scotland and Wales to Northern Ireland. That was the landing zone that the Americans had accepted, that the Europeans had accepted, that the Irish government had accepted, and now it seems that the British government are hoping to implement this landing zone. That is the landing zone that Mr. Poots had accepted last Wednesday on the Nolan show. And that's the point whenever I nearly fell off my seat whenever I heard Mr. Poots saying that. And you've always got to be wary whenever some people, whenever they overstep the mark in terms of their remit, whenever, they promised us that on those protocol rally stages, that the protocol had to go, that we would have to have our full democratic right within the United Kingdom respected and once more installed. That's what they promised us on those protocol rally stages. And last Wednesday on the Nolan show, Mr. Poots was beginning the process of rollback, after which would follow a persuasion process, expecting you, I, and everyone else to walk and go with the DUP, and in a way that we fully accept our separation from the rest of the United Kingdom. Now, whenever I see that happening, I always ask the question, who puts wind in their sails? And you believe me, the DUP didn't do this alone. The DUP have had much discussion with community groups, community leaders, with people in different authorities around Northern Ireland, and largely the DUP thought that they would have thought that they have garnered enough support to be able to push this through. And we've seen this at the New Decade, New Deal approach stages, but we're not going to get into that because we want to stay fixated and focused on what it is that we're doing today. So who put wind in the DUP sails to roll over and to capitulate, and now to try to go into sales mode to try to reverse what it was that they were promising whenever it was that they were asking for your vote on those protocol rally stages. Now, what we're going to do, stick with us, stay with us. Again, tag people into the live chat. Leave your messages in the live chat. Give us a love, a like, and a share, and continue on. Continue to listen. It'll go on for perhaps another, I'm going to say 20 minutes or so, but we have to get through these video clips so that you understand that the DUP have completely rolled, have completely shafted you, and are now in persuasion mode with their lackeys to try to bluff the people of Northern Ireland. Will not if we have anything to do with it.
To the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. Our aim is to...
What did she just say there? What did Liz Truss just say there? Let's just take that back a bit. Let's listen again.
I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives.
Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives. This is what the British government are saying. Let's play on.
We will cement those provisions which are working in the protocol, including the common travel area, the single electricity market, and North-South cooperation, whilst fixing those elements that aren't. I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol.
I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. Who remembers Jeffrey Donaldson on the stages, on the protocol rally stages? The protocol must go. We will not be entering power sharing arrangements in Stormont unless the protocol is gone. Now let me go on, and now let you listen to Liz Truss one more time for further clarification on other things that she said, and then let's go on and let's listen to Jeffrey Donaldson yet again. Let's play some more from Liz Truss.
Makes the EU no worse off. We have proposals to protect the single market, to make sure that there is enforcement of the green lane and the red lane. So I would hope that they look at our proposals in a reasonable way, as we are putting them forward in a reasonable way, and that we can work together on a solution.
So let's now roll that back a bit, okay? And let's do what we do. Let's break Liz Truss's words down here, because now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of what the British government were proposing just a few days ago, and which Jeffrey Donaldson was welcoming. Not only was he welcoming Liz Truss's words, but what he said was that this forms the basis by which power sharing could get up and running again. That's what he said. That's what he said. But what did he say in the protocol rally stages? He said that the protocol has to go. But yet now, power sharing seemingly isn't that far off if Liz Truss can deliver this proposal that she's offering right here. And just listen again to what it is that Liz Truss is proposing, and we're going to stop and we're going to start as we go.
Our solution makes the EU no worse off. We have proposals to protect the single market, to make sure that there is enforcement of the green lane and...
Did you hear that? So our proposals will leave the EU no worse off. Our proposals will make sure that there's enforcement in the green lane. Now, what's the green lane? Let's remind ourselves of what that green lane is. That green lane is the method by which goods would come to Northern Ireland, which is meant to be free-flowing. But what did Liz Truss just say there? We will ensure that there's enforcement in that green lane. Let's listen to the game.
Enforcement of the green lane and the red lane. So I would hope that they look at our proposals in a reasonable way, as we are putting them forward in a reasonable way, and that we can work together on a solution.
There you go. In a nutshell, that's what the British government were proposing just a few days ago. They were proposing checks on EU goods coming from Northern Ireland. They were proposing that push posts would remain in Larne, in Belfast and in Warrenpoint. They were proposing that there would be checks on goods, and they would enforce the checks on goods coming to Northern Ireland. And they also would enforce the checks on the goods for and on behalf of the EU going to the Republic of Ireland. Now, there is a simple solution to this, people. This isn't complicated at all. This, in my honest opinion, is just here so that there is this complication, so that it keeps us focused on the protocol. Meanwhile, there's a lot more things that we should be focused on, because there's a lot more things going on coming from governments around the world, coming from our own government, coming from our own capo-like politicians that we elected. You know, we're being focused on something whilst other things are happening in the background. Shame on them. Shame on them. And shame on them again. So we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. What we're going to do is we're going to play another few video clips just to finish this off, and just to document fully how that it is that you are, if you believe the other day that you had a good deal, if you are being told by some of the DUP lackeys that it's a great deal, that it's a staging post, that the protocol is gutted out and it's in a corpse-like fashion, if that's what you were being told, I'm only saying this respectfully. The people that are telling you that is wrong. And the person that is telling you that, I'm saying, these are my words, you, sir, are wrong. We've been around for a very, very long time. We have been watching how that it is that our politicians have shafted us time and time and time again. A lifetime of betrayal has taught us to smell betrayal even before it comes. Let's watch some more videos. Let's watch some more videos before that we move on, before that we close, and before the people on this screen is left in absolutely no doubt to who's on your side, who's not on your side, who is prepared to persuade for a really bad deal in order to see themselves elevated to a position of self-importance. So what I want to do now is I want to play Jeffrey Donaldson welcoming in what it was that Liz Truss had just said there.
Today is a welcome, if overdue, step. That is a significant move towards addressing the problems created by the protocol and getting power sharing based upon a cross-community consensus up and running again.
Now, let's just go back. Let's understand what it was that Jeffrey said. So I showed you that the border checks are going to be there, that the push posts are still going to be there, that the border is still going to remain in the North Channel, that we are still separated. Who can argue that we are not separated? Who can argue that we are not a place apart from the United Kingdom? Who can argue that there isn't those circumstances between Scotland and England and Wales? Who can argue that we are not second-class British citizens and we are not full members of the United Kingdom, whenever that the Green Lane still will have enforcement and the EU are pushing for oversight over that enforcement? And who's to say that they won't have it? Now let's hear what this man just said was acceptable to him.
The statement today is a welcome, if overdue, step. That is a significant move towards addressing the problems created by the protocol and getting power sharing based upon a cross-community consensus up and running again.
So the statement today was welcome. The it's a good step. It's a welcome step, which would get power sharing up and running again. The protocol must go. That's what he says in those stages, and there will be no power sharing unless that the protocol is gone and it confirmed in Crossgar to everyone and the people who would have voted for him. He confirmed that the protocol had to go in every way, shape and fashion, that the border in the North Channel, the Irish Sea, that it had to go. And, whenever I would say, I talked about, the Achilles heel of this whole problem is the Belfast Agreement. Threaten their Belfast Agreement, their precious agreement. And if the DUP had done that last January, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. And that's how I tackled Jeffrey Donaldson. Let's play this last video in front of that entire hall whenever I said, if anything happens to the place that we have in the United Kingdom, if anything happens to Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland is separated from the United Kingdom, I hold the DUP hierarchy completely responsible for not having moved in January last year whenever that protocol came into being. Whenever Jeffrey Donaldson, let's remember, was saying, well, it's here and we have to exploit the benefits of the protocol. Whenever Mr. Poots was saying that, well, it gives us opportunities to export, I kid you not, to the rest of the Great Britain market. We are the United Kingdom. What is in this man's head? We are the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland is a place in the United Kingdom, and Poots wanted to export from Northern Ireland to the GB market. Do them people sound like leaders to you? You certainly don't to me. Let's look on. Let's look at another video. Let's listen to Gavin Robinson. Let's hear what, I'm doing this so that you understand in an absolute conclusive way what these people are up to behind your back.
To rejoining the power sharing executive, yes or no?
Well, we are, because they have accepted the issues that need to be dealt with. They now need to be dealt with.
So what was it that Mr. Robinson said there, Mr. Gavin Robinson? I listened very carefully. We're going to do what we do.
So just in a word then, are you any closer tonight to rejoining the power sharing executive, yes or no?
Well, we are, because they have accepted the issues that need to be dealt with. They now need to be dealt with.
So Gavin Robinson, who would have sat in that parliament the other day and who would have listened to Liz Truss, does he have some sort of legal standing? Correct me if I'm wrong. Put it into the live chat. Is he legally minded? He says, well, they've accepted the issues that we needed dealt with. This tells you what the DUP hierarchy are at. They have accepted the issues that we need dealt with, and they're dealing with them. And if they deal with them, power sharing will be back up and running. And that's me paraphrasing again. But yet I'm showing you, I'm telling you, I have shown you what it is that the British government are proposing, and how that it is that the DUP are trying to present this separation of Northern Ireland from the rest of the United Kingdom. They're trying to present this as a win for you. DUP delivery is what you're going to expect in the next few days. Let's look again. Now we're coming to a close. We're about to play our last video. And, what I would like for you to do, is I would like for you to tell me what you thought of what it was that we presented. This was for long days and nights worth of work, pouring over lots of information. We had a lot more than this. There's only so much that we can fit in here. Tell us what you think. Has it ever been done by ordinary people from within British unionism before? Has anyone ever held politicians to account in such a fashion? Would you offer your support for Restore UK? Let's play the last video.
That the protocol must go and our democratic rights as British citizens should be fully restored. Thank you.
I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives.
The statement today is a welcome if overdue, step. That is a significant move towards addressing the problems created by the protocol and getting power sharing based upon a cross-community consensus up and running again.
Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives, that this is not about scrapping the protocol.
So let's roll back for a moment. Let's roll back. And as you see, this is the before shot. This is before the election. In front of you, we'll make it bigger for you. Before the election, anti-protocol parade and rally. Before the election, what was it he was saying?
So let us continue to stand together, united in our determination that the protocol must go and our democratic rights as British citizens should be fully restored.
So the protocol must go. Yet again, just to recap, the protocol must go. I don't look, is there any combination of that, what he said? The protocol must go. And our democratic rights should be fully restored, which means that we would be afforded the same democracy as people in England, Scotland and Wales. We form part of that 17.4 plus million people that voted in the Brexit referendum. We were part of that winning electorate, which won that, and democratically we have that right. So what he's saying there is that the democratic rights should be fully restored. So this is what he was selling on those protocol rally stages. Now listen.
Thank you.
I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives.
The statement today is a welcome.
So, am I missing something here? Am I missing something? Are you missing something? In Ballymoney in County Antrim on that stage, he was promising that crowd, vote for me, because the protocol must go and your democratic right must be restored. Liz Truss just said that the protocol isn't going anywhere. And Jeffrey Donaldson said that he welcomes it. And he's saying that that forms the basis of the DUP getting the Assembly back up and running again. Now, I'm not going to go any further here. I'm not going to, call this for you. I want you as a person, as people. I want you to work this out for yourself. Do you trust the DUP? Should the DUP trust the British government? Do you trust Jeffrey Donaldson? Do you trust Edwin Poots? Democracy was denied here in Northern Ireland with reference to the Brexit referendum. You know, we've suffered here in Northern Ireland all of my life. And the odd insult to the injury to those that would have suffered, well, we continue to be the kicking and the whipping boys of all and sundry. And those that we elect, well, they're not prepared to stand up for us. They're not prepared to serve and protect us in the way that we actually deserve. So onwards and upwards, I say, onwards and upwards in the determination that we would have to expose these people, watching their every move, poring over their every single word, and showing to the people what it is that they're doing in your name. Are they walking over the graves of every single person that has lost their lives here in Northern Ireland? That's a question. That's a real question. You can only make peace with your enemies if you can bring your friends along. Making peace with your enemies isn't as hard, this is me paraphrasing, as making peace with your friends. Well, this man that said that, he is totally failing to make peace with this friend. We offered a lot to the DUP. We worked tirelessly for the DUP before the last general election. Some of us put our hands in our own pockets to pay for halls, to pay for insurances for halls to get the DUP elected. And once they got elected in 2019, well, they done the opposite of that which they had promised us. So a lifetime of betrayal has taught us to smell betrayal. So there we go. There we go. That's us to the end of the stream. That's us to the end of, I would say, the most important stream that we've done to date. But if that's what your friends are, who needs enemies? We've enough enemies without our own trying to lead us on a merry dance towards a new Ireland. Another quote from Jeffrey Donaldson, which he gave to me in 2018, October 2018, in his office at a meeting with him. I looked him in the eye and I says, how long do we have? And he knew that, well, you might be able to see I'm a logical sort of fella and I'm able to read things. And I looked into his eye and he says, how long do we have? In October 2018, he quoted that we have 15 years. To which I said, not if I have anything to do with it. Don't be defeatist. It's not over. It won't be over. It won't be over if we can win hearts and minds. It won't be over if we can bring people together. It won't be over if an army of people can come together. And I say people. If an army of people can come together, I'm not talking about for war. I'm talking about political civil war. I'm talking about an army of people must come together with weapons of words that would hold these people to account, that would expose these people at every turn, that would be capable of taking the fight to our enemies, that would be capable of fighting in a meaningful, proactive way, in a way that would defend, protect, and enhance British unionism, in a way that would ensure that no British government would want to mess with Ulstermen. I want you really to leave some messages in the live chat. Tell me what you think. Tell me, was our efforts in vain this evening? Well, we're putting our heads above the parapet. We have seen people who have done similar in this country only to lose their lives. Restore UK is exactly what it means. And right now, according to what the British government were offering on Monday, I don't see the ingredients that would actually restore Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom. And therefore, the United Kingdom, well, our job's not over, because we have not been restored as full members of the United Kingdom, and we will not be restored as full members of the United Kingdom under what it is that the DUP are planning on accepting right now. The numbers have stayed really, really high. Thanks very much for coming along. As I say, it was the most important stream, that we would have done to date. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to play us out with a song, but this song's entitled We've Been Here Before. And listen to the words of this song. You would think that this song was made for the circumstances to which British unionism finds themselves in this evening. So many times we found ourselves behind the 8 ball. So many times have we placed our trust in our politicians, only for our politicians to shaft us. I'm fed up with that. I hope you are too. And I hope that together we can change things for the benefit of ordinary, decent people here in Northern Ireland. And that goes for nationalists and Catholics also. You know, reconciliation can never be achieved whenever people are being wound up against each other. It can never be achieved. Reconciliation should have took place in this country between those that are willing a very, very long time ago. But all we get is extremists or self-serving politicians working for themselves, keeping people divided in order that they can get their hands on the lever of power. Well, as you see, we're capable of exposing them, and we will do, and will continue to do so from this day going forward.
I was left to my own devices. Many days fell away with nothing to show. show, and the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Grey clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? We were caught up and lost in all of our voices, in your pearls as the dust settles around us, and the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Grey clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? Oh, where do we begin? The rubble of our sins. Oh, where do we begin? The rubble of our sins. And the walls came tumbling down in the city that we love. Grey clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. Close your eyes. Does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this if you close your eyes? Does it almost feel like nothing changed at all?